Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me and welcome back to my channel. If you are meeting me for the very first time, my name is Tracie Collins, and here on my channel is where I focus on women, all things women, business related, personal development related, and then my life here in Mexico. So let's get started. As a woman who is in leadership, it is important to me that I share my 10 most used habits that I have developed over the course of time that have made me the person that I am today. And I want to share those with you guys. So let's get started. The first one is set goals. Women in leadership set goals for themselves, and the goals are actionable, they are realistic, and they are measurable. So when you are setting goals for yourself, the first thing you want to do is make sure that you write your goals down. And then with each and every goal, we want to make sure that it is in the realistic time frame and that you have actionable steps for each and every one. So this is something that if I have an idea or a concept, the first thing that I do is I write it down because I need to, number one, remind myself, but number two, how can this goal be attained and what steps do I need to ensure that this goal is accomplished, and in what time frame does this goal of mine need to be met? I like to look at goals and breaking them down into 3-month increments. So basically one a quarter or however many a quarter, but you want to make sure that you're looking at it like 3-month increment. How can I get this accomplished in 3-month increment? And you want to work backwards, making sure that you are itemizing the daily tasks that need to be done so you can make that goal a reality. The next thing is time management. When I tell you I am a stickler for time management, if you are not valuing your time, nobody else will. And if they aren't valuing their own time, they're definitely not going to value yours. So it is essential that you set realistic days where you can manage your time that works for you. So what does that mean? For me, my morning routine is extremely important to just my personal well-being and how I move about facing my day. I know that I have to wake up early or early enough for me, and I have to at least have an hour and a half to 2 hours of just personal time, meditative time, nourishment time, just specific for me in order for me to be ready to face the world. That means if you can help it, making sure that you are not replying to emails, that you are not looking up things that you need to do on your daily task, but that you are managing your time to where you are aligning with yourself first and then you're facing the day. Making sure that in between meetings that you have set up for yourself, that you give yourself a buffer time. That buffer time should not be any less than 15 minutes. So do not, for your mental wellness and then also for your physical ability, you do not want to schedule back to back to back meetings. Also, in this time frame, work in realistic business hours. So as women in leadership, we often will have a team or we'll have deadlines or we will have certain days that are heavier than others. Set realistic office hours that align with your vision, that align with your brand, that align with your values. So you want to make sure that you have those time frames set in place for yourself, but also know when to stop working, okay? And I would also encourage you to please try not to work every day. We think that the more we do, the more outcome we will have results for. This isn't necessarily true. What happens is if we spend so much time pumping the engine and if it's not resting, we are not as effective. So in the downtime, know when that downtime is going to be for yourself and make sure that you cut that off. All right. So for me, I don't schedule any meetings on Fridays or Mondays. No, I work within Tuesday to Thursday, and those are when I focus on my meetings. Not saying that I'm not getting other tasks done, but I'm not having meetings. The next thing is don't be afraid to pivot. Oftentimes we are sold the notion that we have to move in this direction and we can't make adjustments or can't change our mind or can't change direction. But realistically, a good business owner knows that this is not aligning with the times. This is not aligning with social media or our marketing strategies. This is not aligning with where I see the overall vision going, either for myself or my brand and company. So what we want to do is make sure that we are not afraid to change direction. If it's not working, it's okay to change it. And that is somebody who is paying attention to how your business and brand is impacting other people in relation to relatability, in relation to sales and marketing, in relation to impact. We want to make sure that you are not afraid to pivot. The next one is take initiative. Be a self-starter. Women in leadership don't wait for somebody to give them the green light. They take that green light themselves. We never wait for somebody to say, okay, yes, this is something that I give you permission to do. No, we make sure that we give ourselves the green light and we then proceed. So you want to make sure that you always take initiative. Don't be afraid of how it's going to turn out. Don't think that it has to be perfect coming out of the gate, because that is going to stop you. That is going to place unnecessary fear and anxiety on you. And that's not something that we want. We want to make sure that you trust yourself, you trust your intuition, and you let that be your guide. But you also, in doing so, you want to make sure that you are taking that initiative, you are taking that step, and that you are not afraid. Women in leadership, we have a certain tenacity about ourselves. We are bosses in our mindsets and in our movements. And that also dictates how you take initiative and move forward. The next one is surround yourself by like-minded women. You need community. You need community because you want to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with women who are at the same level as you are, who is not sitting around gossiping, because that's not what we want. We want to encourage, provide resources. We want to network. We want to brainstorm. We want a group of masterminds. We want to be surrounded by people who are in think tanks, because you are not going to necessarily have all of the answers, but your peers may. So you want to make sure that you cultivate a group. Just so you guys know, I do have Thrive, which is a women in business leadership mastermind group. So if you're interested in joining Thrive, the link is in the description in this video. The next thing is, you guys, you are your brand. It's about your relatability. It is about your likability or personality, also your knowledge. You show up, you're consistent. People can count on you, that you are going to provide them with valuable information that is going to be applicable to the next stage of their life or business where they want to go. They can rely on you for consistent information. And in that, you do it gracefully, you do it respectfully, but you also do it with authority. So you want to make sure that you know that you are your brand. You want to look the part, you want to act the part, you want to dress the part, and you want to know the part. So you want to make sure that you embrace the fact that you are your brand. Don't sleep on that. The next thing that I want to stress, and this is something that I had a hard time dealing with myself, is don't be afraid to delegate. Do not be afraid to say, you know what, I need help. I need support. This is not going to be my area of strength, but I know how to do it. But in order for me to maximize where I need to go, I need somebody else to fill in this area. So maybe having like a social media manager, or someone who is a chief of staff who manages your calendar and your admin and your duties. So you want to make sure that you delegate responsibilities, because not only is it going to free up your time, but it's going to give you more time to think about how to grow your business and brand, and how you can be more of an impact to bring in those sales. The next thing we want to talk about is, women in leadership, we invest in ourselves. We invest in our knowledge. We invest in our personal development. We are investing in ourselves. So how do you do that? YouTube obviously is a great resource. So with that being said, you want to make sure you like this video and you subscribe to this channel. But reading is we're always looking about how can we pour into our minds. Reading, getting out in nature, connecting, that is a part of your personal growth and development. And also, you never know who you're going to run into and meet, but making sure that you are taking time for yourself to invest in you. And also mentorship and coaching. Know when you need to level up. Research your coaches, research their brand. Does it align with your mindset and where you want to go? How can this individual take you to the next level? How can you position yourself with the right mentor to get you to the next level and in your life and in your business and brand? The next thing we want to do is own your voice. Don't be afraid to say what you have to say. Own it. You have valuable experience and knowledge. You have valuable education, lived business experience. You have what it takes. Own your voice. You deserve to be at your own table. So own your voice. Your unique lens is like none other. So you want to make sure that you are owning what you have to say and you are standing firm in that. But also in that, do your research. Always be researching information. And the final thing that I want to say is women, we know when to rest. I know. It's like, oh my God, it feels like if I'm not resting or if I'm not doing anything, I'm not getting anything accomplished. But your rest is just as essential to your well being and your growth because it gives you clarity, it gives you vision, it gives you focus, it allows you to think and strategize. Know when to rest. So make sure that you are pouring into yourself by stopping, that you are smelling the roses. We are letting go of that superwoman complex. You are human, and in your essence, we as women and falling into our femininity and allowing our feminine energy to bring us more abundance. So, with that being said, know when to rest. Constant go, that's a masculine way of doing business. We don't do business that way. We do business because we attract it through our feminine energy. And when you rest, you can cultivate that feminine energy even more so because what we want to do is do things that bring us pleasure so it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like what we're doing is taxing. And how do we get to the core and the center of that is we want to make sure that we are resting, we are giving our body and our minds and our spirits what they need. So, with that being said, thank you so much for joining. I hope these habits are something that you can apply into your daily life. This is something that I do for myself. You guys know I will never share information with you that I have not experienced or done myself. So, thank you so much for joining me on my channel, and I'll see you next time.